do you think that this has kind of like come about? How do you think that, like, is it the fact that the police and, the city is just getting so tired of telling them, like, no, 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 don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, like, why is this still happening? I mean, we've been experiencing hazing deaths since, since forever. There's always, there's always been this problem, and why do you think that it's getting existentially worse rather than it's getting better?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's getting worse or if it's getting better. I don't know what the relationship necessarily is between like hazing and our sort of current problems. I think there is a relationship, but I don't know what it is. I mean, with Matthew's Law, there have been fraternity members going to jail over hazing things since then. So I think that and I think that is good. I think it's a good law, and I think that the application of it is, I guess, as much as I know, has been fairly just. But I think what happens is that if you have an organization that's dedicated to those same sort of tests and initiations, but then they have to change it around, they can then it makes those same sort of ideas function in a different way. It changes the structure of it, but they still believe in the idea of it, and so it moves it around. And so, for instance, like, there might be things that, like, you don't have to do, quote unquote, to be a member of the thing, but if you do them, we'll like you more and we'll let you in. The deal is, you just hang around us, and if we like you, you'll come in. But like, in order for us to really like you, you're going to have to do X and Y, and those things might be really, really dangerous. So, like with Mason's death, the police decided it wasn't a hazing, that it wasn't a hazing-related death. But I don't know what kind of social pressure within the fraternity there was for a pledge to drink 21 drinks on his 21st birthday. There might have been an extreme amount of social pressure to do that, or he might have decided to do it on his own, and we don't know. But I think that's what how it shifts around. I think that like, when if you have you have to change the culture of the organization to not have those sort of tests for admission in order to have those things go away, because otherwise they just look different, or they shift around.
And then last question is just, do you believe, and what would it be if there was a somewhat quick but long-term solution to this issue? What would it be?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think that there are some good ideas out there. I think that the first thing that has to happen is that everyone involved has to be a part of the discussion. And by everyone, that means every faculty member, every student, and every Chico State employee. And we're not doing that. I mean, obviously, this affects a small part of our student population, and these problems are caused by a small part of our student population, in addition to other people who aren't students who are around. But people in various activist circles and communities believe in preaching to the choir. You have to get the 90% of the people who are affected by the fallout of it but not participating in it to talk about it. And so like, let's, we have these 1,200 fraternity and sorority members. Most of them are not part of the problem, and many people who aren't them are part of the problem. But if you can have a conversation where you've got 15,000 people saying, this is what we believe, and this is what we think is right, and this is what we're going to do, and they're talking to the 1,000 people that are the problem, if nothing else, we're going to hear their voices, and they're going to start representing what our values are. But right now, our values are represented by, this bad thing happens, it happens in the newspaper, and we respond to it with these sort of actions. And so right now we're letting the bad thing drive the culture of the good thing, And we need to turn that around if we're gonna do something. And so honestly, just having a broad conversation about it, like in every classroom, would have some immediate effect on it. And it would at least get students to stop thinking about these things that happen as a sort of one-off incident that they're not going to have to deal with again, and start thinking about it as there's a problem with the culture of the school, and we can start to change that. So.
And to me, I think even having like the conversations that you have with your students, having somebody, a reasonable adult voice who's saying, let's have a conversation about what this means, rather than
Right.
we're gonna shut you down,
Right.
don't do this, you know,
Right.
and like opening that up, I think
Right.
is, I don't think they can, even if at the moment they're saying, oh, well, that's ridiculous, it's no big deal, at least they're
Right.
gonna walk away